Hi, my name is Geert and welcome to this week's video. If you've seen last week's video, you might be wondering how digital twins are implemented. Last week we covered the capabilities, but this week we will focus on how these models are implemented in real-life examples. And we'll start this video off by talking to Jochem Evers. He tells us not only what he thinks is needed to implement these models, but also what is needed before they can be adopted outside of research facilities.
There's lots of technical hurdles still to be taken. Digital twins of such crop systems are by no means finished. If we can get it to such a level that it can be adopted by actual growers, right? And with such a level I mean that it becomes feasible to install something like this, and also it's not too expensive. I can imagine yet you get in a situation where where across the board you get a reduction in resource use, which improves the sustainability of such systems as a whole. But it's very important that we have a system that people want to adopt, right? Because if it's hugely expensive and you need a lot of hassle to maintain or install or even use it, then nobody's going to do it, right? And then the sustainability gains are close to zero. So it needs to be a system that can be adopted in an easy way by people.
Kind of off topic, but what do you think is needed for it to get there, to the point where it's more usable for people?
Yeah, well, that's a good question, because that's actually also some of the things that we wanted to try and find out in that project itself. Like I said, it was also, this tomato project was a sort of proof of concept of can we use digital twins in horticulture and agriculture. And what we wanted to find out is what do you need, right? And how easy is it? So there's a couple of things there. First of all, in order to constantly update such a digital twin with data coming from the actual twin, you need sensors, right? So you need to be able to monitor the crop and its environment as it's growing and developing. So you need sensor equipment in order to get that data. Otherwise you cannot feed the model with updated data. And this sensor technology, I mean, it's developing incredibly quickly. But the type of sensors that we've been using within this research project is not the type of sensors that growers typically have lying around in their greenhouses, right? So one thing that we definitely are going to need is a good overview of what is the minimum number of low-cost sensors that are easily accessible and available that we need in order to make such a twin work, right? So that is something that makes it feasible. That's important. Second thing I think is that the output, so the kinds of things that the twin produces, the information that a grower can potentially use in order to optimize the system needs to be understandable. In this research project, the digital twin was really very much a scientific tool still, and we would like, of course, at some point to get into the situation where the twin is and the output of the twin can be used, can be managed by anyone, and the output can be interpreted by anyone. And that is something that we haven't focused a lot of attention to. We have been trying to make steps here together with the Wonder Lab here in Wageningen, and that is clearly something that needs to be developed further in order for a twin to be adopted.
Talking about implementation, how can digital twin systems be designed for user-friendliness, and what steps can be taken to ensure effective user training and adoption?
Yeah, that's an important thing. If we want digital twins to be adopted and used, first of all, you need to show that it makes sense, right? You need to have a convincing case that digital twins can make a difference. So I think they can. There's a lot to do still, but digital twins can make a difference. in specific cases. We just need to do much more research to try and find out in which cases, and in what circumstances and for which species. Because if there are no convincing cases, then nobody will be interested, obviously, because it's an investment. You want to see a return on investment, and you want to make sure that it works indeed towards the sustainability of your greenhouse. But of course, we're here not in the business to push digital twins. We want to find out, in first instance, does it even make sense, right? So if it does make sense, then we have a convincing case. If it doesn't make sense, then this is also where the story stops, because we're not going to push something that doesn't make sense, right? So it needs to make a difference in terms of sustainability, productivity, and economic gain, right? Next to that, it needs to be accessible. Right, so it needs to be accessible in terms of how much it costs, and it needs to be accessible in terms of usability.
In the next interview, Orestes Spirou showcases two very interesting ways in which digital twins are implemented. In the first clip, he tells us about using augmented reality to showcase the future of digital twins in pharmaceutical cannabis production.
During the first proof of concept that was developed with the guidance of William Hurst and Corverdo, we have been brainstorming towards this integration of digital twins. The big concept was a virtualized bee asset that was used for the end user to guide throughout the whole production phase of the pharmaceutical cannabis in a virtualized environment. So after some brainstorming, and due to the fact that bees, they are creatures that they have been around the globe for a lot of years, I thought that it can be used as a nice proof of concept, showcasing the future of augmented, not even pharmaceutical cannabis production, but also honey production, but the bees. And it was used to provide a more intuitive way of visualizing the data and guiding throughout the whole facility the end user. And it was used to showcase the future of implementing digital twin technologies into pharmaceutical honey that it's obtained from the bees itself, when the bees, they are located near cultivation of hemp or other pharmaceutical cannabis, and to showcase the multidisciplinary approach of digital twins in augmented every aspect of the biodiversity.
In the second clip, Orestes shows how he can use a VR headset to enter a virtual environment which is a digital twin of him as a tutor, explaining questions regarding agriculture and extended reality.
Hey there! Hello there!
Hey there, my friend. How's it going?
It's going great. So, can you please provide me some information regarding digital twins? What is a digital twin?
Sure, I'd be happy to provide you with some information about digital twins. A digital twin is a virtual representation or replica of a physical object, process, or system. It is created by collecting and integrating data from various sources, such as sensors, simulations, and historical records. The digital twin can be used to monitor, analyze, and optimize the performance of the corresponding physical object or system in real time.
Can you provide me some information regarding extended realities in agriculture?
Absolutely. Extended realities, or XR, have the potential to revolutionize the agricultural industry. XR technologies, which include augmented reality, virtual reality, and mixed reality, offer immersive and interactive experiences that can enhance productivity, efficiency, and decision-making in agriculture.
Lastly, Orestes tells us why visualization is of great importance when implementing digital twins.
The visualization of data for digital twins is a very crucial step towards scientific progress. By visualizing data in a 3D manner, it's easier for stakeholders and researchers to obtain information regarding current state and future states of plants, and especially when combining data with other parameters like phenotyping of plants, then it's very handy to couple this data with the virtual representations of the plants or subjects that we want to virtually augment and present in a gamified environment.
Speaking of phenotyping, we had the chance to visit the Netherlands Eco Phenotyping Center, otherwise known as NPEC. NPEC facilitates state-of-the-art measurement of plant phenotypes to support research on genotype and phenotype associations. Establishing these associations is critical for the development of novel climate-proof crops and cropping systems. These novel crops and systems are necessary to secure our future high-quality food production and improve the ecological sustainability of food production. In other words, this greenhouse has a lot of ways to measure and control plants, from irrigation and light exposure to measuring leaf size. This data can then be used to feed the digital twin and model the plants. In line with the research and story of Orestes is Wander. Wander's main goal is to develop a sharing facility to advance science through 3D visualization and immersive experiences in combination with modern data science to transform research, education and outreach of the work community. For digital twins, they helped visualize tree pollen spread at the campus to help visualize collected data. In the visualization, users can see what the effect is of moving and placing trees on the spread of pollen using a digital twin. This all looks amazing, but a greenhouse this advanced does not come cheap, and not everyone has a team that is able to visualize their data. And this might discourage some farmers, and you can't blame them. Not everyone can build a 22 million euro greenhouse to help implement their digital twin, or have a team of experts who can help visualize data. Luckily, we got in contact with Jacob van den Borne, and he likes to think in possibilities. In the next clip, he will tell us his story about how he started collecting data and where he is now in his journey to building and implementing his own digital twin.
So in 2006, when I took over the farm, I was focused on getting the yields up, because we were on the low end of the yield spectrum, and we also had on the low end of the quality spectrum. But the main thing was we were not really efficient with the small fields. So firstly, I invested in technology, so in section control, RTK guidance, all technologies that are reducing the overlap and therefore making fast money. To give you an example, we had an overlap of around 13% in everything we did on the small fields, and we reduced that overlap from 13% to just 2%. That's a 10% gain on fuel, on labor, on seeds, on spraying products, on fertilizer, on water, on the whole cost thing. We reduced with 10% with just 2-3 years of investment. Yeah, the section control unit was paid back in 2 months. An RTK guidance systems was paid back in 2 years. And then at that time that cost 25,000 euros. So because my small fields, non-rectangular, the profits there were really, really fast. The return on investment was within a year in most of the cases. So when that all worked, then I was saying, yeah, okay, now I have the accuracy, I have the GPS. Then I thought maybe we want to learn from the data, so I started investing in sensors. The first sensors that I bought were actually the soil scanners to scan the soil. If you don't know your soil and you still want to work with the variability, then you need a technology to scan the soil before you farm. So I invested in soil scanners. And the second technology where I invested was in N sensors, or sensors that measures the biomass and the chlorophyll. So that are plant sensors that tell you something about the status of your crop. By investing in a lot of sensor technology, and so first the soil sensing, secondly close sensing, we also get in remote sensing and also in drone sensing. So the whole package, everything, the goal was to do everything there is to find out which is the good stuff to go to and which to not the good stuff to go to. After a year or 6 in 2011, 12, after all the investments, after all the data collection, we found out that we could not really learn from the data, because we didn't have a good system of capturing the data, we didn't have a good database, and we actually forgot the most important thing about data is the metadata. And you guys know, you can if you look in social media, everybody thinks it's about the text message or the film or the animation, but actually it's not. It's about the metadata. Who is looking? Which network, how is it spreading, how long are you looking, what are your friends thinking about it, how it's rated. That's way more valuable than the data itself. So with that in my back mind, I threw all the data away and started from scratch. So everything, we started a complete new database, and we thought about metadata, we thought about what we're going to do with the data. So in the past I just measured to have data. Now I have a goal and I need data. That's the different approach. And if you think now, if you look globally in precision farming, you see they are all where I was. We're just gonna collect all the data available, and we will see if Elon Musk can find it out. That's of course a laugh, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But when we were ready to really work with the data, we found out that we couldn't use it. So from 2012 we started with a new database structure, with also a new data model, and we also integrated a probing algorithm, because the one problem that I had was my sensor was measuring 12, but nobody could tell me if 12 was good or that it needed to be 15 or maybe 25. I went to Wageningen, I went to everywhere in the world, nobody could tell me. So I asked the guys from Wageningen, how did you figure out growing models? And then they said, yeah, it's easy, just go probing, collect physiological data, and compare that data with your sensors. So that's what we started in 2012 as well. So up to this day we have 11 years of not only sensor data, but also physiological data, so the real plant measurement data. So if you combine those two, then of course you can go into growing models, you can explain variabilities, you can do way more than what we have time for. So the whole thing, we build up this database, we also integrated an API, and we're now ready for the next step, and of course that's AI. Because the data set is so fast, so that big, that normal human brain capacity cannot do that anymore, or maybe just 2 or 3 fields, but not 200 fields every week, 10 years in a row.
Yeah.
So that's a bit of the story of how we got from just buying section control and RTK up to drones, soil scanners, satellite imagery, whatever.
Yeah. Okay, so with Jacob's inspiring story in mind, we'll end the video here. We have seen implementing digital twins requires a lot of knowledge, expertise and money. But with the right mindset and hard work, we can come a long way. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next week.